Hello everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Guys, QNT Quant on our radar today. I want to pick this out for a number of reasons. We talk about Agenda 30 on many of our videos. There'll be a reason why I'm bringing it to your attention in this one as well. But look at this, Gilbert Verdian, CEO of course of Quant, has mentioned here the ISO standards published for one of the first T307 standards on guidelines for governance for blockchain and distributed ledger technologies, DLTs basically. This is very, very, very interesting. It's been a long process. Roman Beck very heavily involved in blockchain consortiums and organizations for sure. But I'm opening this up. Now, this is going to be really interesting because Quant are for sure heavily involved in the likes of ISO development, as are many others, for example, like Ripple, Stellar, which we cover quite a lot, IOTA, all of these great projects. We talk about like ISO 20022, I think that was correct. But this one, yeah, as we've mentioned, guidelines for governance. This is heavily involved. IT applications in banking, IT applications in other fields. Look at this, guys. Sustainable Development Goals. This is the Agenda 30 logo. This standard contributes to the following Sustainable Development Goal. Fantastic to see this all into fruition. In 2015, the UN set an ambitious 15-year plan. Add that up, guys. Agenda 30, 2030. It's what we talk about all the time to address some of the most pressing issues faced by the world. So really, really interesting to see the development of this and the likes of Quant and many other projects that we invest in aiming towards these identifiable situations. Now, these are all the different goals of Agenda 30. We'll see how they all play out for sure. And indeed, the technology that will be used behind the majority of this. Make of it what you will, but it's for sure a good read. If you haven't read Agenda 30 documentation, go read it. Agenda 21 was also interesting to see the full spectrum of the journey that we have had. But of course, I think over 150 countries signed Agenda 30 back in 2015 and are indeed on that path. Confirming this is the life cycle of basically the whole entire application of where we are today, and number 60 meaning that it's been published. So it's not like it's been chucked out or anything or withdrawn. It's literally gone through an entire long aspirational time frame and timeline of getting to this point. So the international standard has indeed been published. Very, very interesting indeed. I'm looking forward to developing this conversation further as the year goes on for sure. There's been a lot of committees, a lot of organizations involved in this, but yeah, we'll definitely do a video specifically on the aspect of ISO under this TC307 standard. Absolutely brilliant information coming out here, and great to see Quant being around the thick of it. Other than that, guys, nothing major since the last announcement that we did with Quant. Some really cool things going on with the Overledger to help support Polygon and Ethereum compatible network, i.e. an EVM. So really cool to see that development as well. Just touching on, of course, Polygon is absolutely fantastic network to be utilizing. Still using the OX addresses, of course, Ethereum ERC20 tokenomics, but the fact of the matter is Polygon is a fantastic layer system to Ethereum, and indeed the fact that Quant is now focusing on this as well, especially Polygon is used a lot for the gaming industry as well as other aspects of blockchain. So it's really interesting to see the development of this moving forward, and what I'd love to see is more and more names linking together of ones that you hold as investors. I mean, this is great, guys. The next few is going to be so exciting. But on those notes, guys, let's jump into the chart for Quant. As you know, we were buying some Quant back down at the $87, $88 mark low the regions. We hit that top end of our buy area. Unfortunately, didn't get the low one. I mean, how lovely would that have been to get the 60? But I'm still holding buy areas back down at these regions, albeit that we had a nice little tail up on 2 occasions here. I mean, look at that step up there. Let's just have a quick look at that move. From these lower regions where we purchased, we got all the way up to 156. Absolutely brilliant. Nearly pretty much double the position in such a short space of time. But then we have indeed come down. So good, well done to those that have played that, if they have done so. I'm looking to try and accumulate more quant for sure. I stupidly missed this area back here a few days ago. I'm hoping that we might get a potential retest, but we'll have to see about that. Some good news coming out of quant recently may pull it up a bit further. Of course, it's an absolute powerhouse, but I will reiterate the point I've made a few times, that since this area here, June, July last year, we haven't really had major support and resistance areas to test. So I do think, regardless, from an investor's perspective and from a charts perspective, we do indeed need to think about these levels and areas still potentially. So I will indeed have my buy area bound about 104 here, but I do still have my bag down here ready, hopefully around 87, 88. And that sounds a bit selfish, but I love quant. I was stupidly late to this one in terms of investing, albeit I had followed it for such a long time. But my goodness, if we start repeating patterns back up here and have these new higher lows, we could be seeing some crazy prices for quant over this next year, in my opinion. So very much waiting. Personally, the RSIs, we're in a bit of a tail up here, of course. Some good news, as we said a few days ago. Completing that method of overselling into a positive attribute. The gap is still relatively wide, so that's why I'm sort of umming and ahhing whether it would actually ever come back down to those $80-90 marks again. I think the 100 mark will for sure be a very strong point right now, but we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm just waiting for a small dip, and I'll probably take just maybe a cheeky position between now and those lower regions, just in case they don't come up, as well as waiting. But indeed, guys, I'm really excited. We're in these middle levels now on the 28 day and the 14, which is why I'm waiting. But I do want to see a bit more of a repeated pattern at the lower regions. But for us to do that, of course, we need the MACD to narrow, do a bit of sideways trading, and then drop a bit as people get bored and frustrated. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm playing the market with at the moment. I'm not just going to jump into quant for the sake of it. As I said, from my perspective, I just haven't seen personally enough at this area here to confirm that this is a support level. We'll have to see how that plays out, as I said. But indeed, very interesting stuff for sure. I'm just going to quickly draw this in just to confirm some of the areas that I'll be looking at. So just over this fib retracement level here, I'm going to go for about 104, just in case we get that dip to 105 and it trickles down slightly lower. And as I said, I'll have my continuation here around 87, not quite as low as this lower fib retracement level that we saw back here when we did originally get some a few weeks back. But for sure, indeed, looking around these particular areas of interest to me as quant, I believe it's going to be an absolute giant in the making in the future years to come. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Finally, before we wrap this video up, the indicators on the right hand side here still up on the year. Some of these are still showing negative. However, I feel that this 1 month and this 3 month will drag down, albeit slowly. I think certainly in the next couple of months we can drag that back into a positive attribute, and it's good to see on the week that is green. That will slowly drag that 1 month down anyway, naturally and organically and common sense wise, of course. But I would love to see a nice complete turnaround in a few months' time where we're looking back at these prices and going, wow, what great entry points these were. But like I said, I've still got my cheeky ones slightly lower as well, just in case. But we'll see how that plays out. So guys, let us know what you're doing with quant in your portfolios. Really exciting project. We will indeed cover quant again next week, or if anything drastic happens in between, then we will indeed jump on another video. But until then, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next quant video. Bye bye.